guys, I'm here with Georgia. She is my little Livie, Ashton Drake, partial silicone baby, and wanted to show her to you guys. She's a real cutie. And I know I have, I'm going to change her actually into this Absorba kind of long sleeve sleeper. It's just pink, and it's a 0 to 3 month size. Although Absorba tends to seem to run a little bit big sometimes, but I always like, yeah, when I take baby clothing and put it up to the baby and it goes up to their head, I have to remember they'll fill it out and then it ends up fitting okay. But it's, I always feel like clothing looks too big initially. Anyway, I'm going to change her while I chat. I wanted to talk about Babyclon, and I got somebody private messaging me the other day and even commenting on an old video I had made. So I had bought a couple of Ivita dolls before I knew that they had stolen sculpts from China. So I had sold them on secondhand, and I think the people who bought them, I think they felt like at least they weren't giving new money back to the company. So anyway, so those are gone now from my collection. But you know, and I guess people are wondering, like, why is it so bad? And, you know, also with Babyclon as well, somebody was messaging me asking about that. But yeah, so for those of you guys who do not know, and I think a lot of the community does know this at this point, but both of those companies have a reputation for copying artists' sculpts. So, and they have copied, like, if you're a sculptor, you know, and you took the time to sculpt a doll, that's your that's your work of art. You know, you have a copyright on that, in my opinion. And if somebody takes that, like, I think they just like did this with a reborn kit, even takes that reborn kit and then turns it into silicone and decides to sell those silicone babies. I just don't. I just think that's wrong, you know. And I think, you know, the thing that is, it's not fair to the artist because they're obviously not paying the artist a royalty. It'd be one thing if an artist gave them permission and said, hey, you know, for X thousands of dollars or whatever, I will sell you the right to make, maybe this is not a silicone artist, but it's a vinyl artist. And to sell the right to reproduce that doll in the silicone. You know, that would be different, you know, but these artists did not give permission, and that's the problem. So when you're so basically, you know, you'll hear people refer to this on different doll forums that, you know, these people are thieves and things like that. And I know it sounds really harsh, but they really are, because they're stealing a copyright. Or maybe it's not an official trademark copyright, but they're really stealing another person's hard work and profiting from it. So that's the issue I think that the community has with those dolls. Now, the thing is, and by the way, I want to show you guys Tasha really quickly. I may change her into a different body at some point. This is a Bountiful Baby body for 3/4 limb babies. I think they actually make a better version now. But I had taken her old body off and put a new body on her, as well as my other Ashton Drake silicone. And I feel like it's just so much improved. The only so the legs and arms are solid silicone. It's sticky though, and I don't know. People were saying that they think it's tin silicone. It has not broken down, and I've had these dolls for a couple years now. They still seem to be holding up really well. So I don't know what kind of silicone they use, but I am careful to not let them touch my other silicone babies, just in case there's any kind of a reaction. I don't think there would be, but you never know. So anyway, but yeah, I have often talked about the Ashton Drake silicones as an affordable alternative to artist silicones. And I know it's not the same, guys. First of all, I know they're partial silicones, and a lot of you guys really want full body, right? So, but, you know, if you feel it, you still get, you know, the partial silicones, we've talked about this before, they tend to be more cuddly because they're more flexible, you know, than the full body silicones. And so there's a lot of benefit to partial silicones, but because everyone is so all about the full body silicones these days, you just see them less and less. You know, and there aren't, and I guess the reason people are buying these dolls, and actually I don't even think Babyclon is that inexpensive, but the reason people are buying them is because they are supposedly cheaper, than artist silicone. And same with Ivita, right? So people, have bought both. And I think there's somebody who commented on my channel, was like, hey, I recognize that, like, I know that this company, I don't agree with what they're doing, but I'm still going to buy from them because otherwise I'm not going to be able to afford a silicone. This is the only way I can afford a silicone. And look, at the end of the day, I'm not going to, ostracize you or anything like that. And I think there are a fair number of people who, like myself, bought one of these dolls without knowing. And then, maybe even innocently went on, a doll forum or Facebook group to say, hey, to show off their new baby. And they're just excited and proud of their new baby. Oh, look at Georgia. She's such a cutie. And maybe they did that and then literally got their head ripped off, in these groups. Because, so that's the thing. If you have one of these dolls, you really, will not be able to, if you try to post about those dolls in like more of a mainstream reborn group, people will not hesitate to tell you what they think of these dolls. And some will block you for supporting thieves and, for supporting these companies. And so, I feel like this community, it's so much about relationships too. So I think you also have to decide, hey, is that worth it to you to, and I think it sucks. I get it. Like, I know that some people cannot afford many thousands of dollars for silicone, and they feel like this is their only alternative. But I hate to say it, but you almost have to just be a little bit of a closet collector if you are going to collect those dolls and buy it anyway, despite, the knowledge that they are stealing copyright from artists. At the end of the day, like, look, there are fake handbags out there. People do buy those, and you have to do what you feel is right in your own conscience. But I probably wouldn't advertise that around the doll community if I were you. So, probably just have to keep that more private, So that would just be my advice, because you don't want to have that reputation as, I think there are a lot of people, there's some people who will be like, yeah, whatever, to each their own. And then there are others who will really, really come down on you hard and will not want to work with you, will, kind of put you in a category. They'll block you from groups and things like that. So you don't want that. Anyway, that's just my opinion. But I just wanted to kind of come on here and just kind of educate those who may not be very familiar with those sculpts, just around the reasons why they're so controversial and why I wouldn't encourage anyone to buy from them. I really wouldn't. The quality is not the same, because for me, having owned an Ivita, and it is not tin, it is platinum silicone, because I think that was a misconception. Some of the people would say, no, it's tin silicone's going to break down. I didn't find that it was tin silicone, but I definitely felt like the quality of the silicone was not the same. It didn't have a more realistic feel. It was squishy. I mean, it might have been, but again, I feel like this silicone is not going to be at the same caliber as an artist silicone. But I do think the Ashton Drake dolls are a nice option. And, you can get one for less than the price of a reborn, honestly, like, under $250. I think their most expensive one might be $220. A lot of them are right at $200, and they even have some smaller ones that are like $160. So, I think it's a nice option. I do highly recommend changing out the body, because when I took out the body, I had felt something like crunchy in, I think it was Tasha's like bottom, and it turned out it was like a bag of dirt, you guys. It's so gross. So if you can watch my old video, just Google it, just type in Little Fit Nursery, Tasha Ashton Drake or something like that. It should pop right up. And I walk you through how to change the body. By the way, changing the body and reweighting a body is such a great skill to have. I have, one of my collectors, or, who purchased from me, she, I think the seam or something is ripping at the arm, so she probably needs to order a new body, and she wants my help to put the new body on, and then she's going to ship the doll to me back and forth. That just gets really expensive, and I do think it's a fairly simple skill to learn, and it will really empower you to make little tweaks on your own dolls in your collection. There are videos on YouTube, I'm sure, about how to change a body. And the other thing you can do is just, take a reborn tutorial. I really like the Reborn A to Z course. That was how I learned how to paint, literally A to Z. And I think Shaylin's an excellent teacher, and she has a whole section about how do you, how do you assemble a reborn. So anyway, just a little plug there. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. I hope this video was helpful for some of you who may be a little bit newer to the hobby. And I just wanted to put it out there because there are, and then I think if you know any like affordable silicone artists, like Artist Silicones, please make a comment below. I do know Carolyn Dowdy. I was told about her. Doughty. She should be on Facebook. And then Angela Lewis, I saw her website and her silicones look to be quite affordable as well. Again, affordable is relatively speaking. You're not going to find a silicone for, $500 or anything like that. But it might be more like $1,000 or $1,500 or under $2,000 versus the $5,000 plus range, right? So there's just different degrees of affordability. So anyway, I hope this is helpful. Please don't forget to leave me a comment and subscribe if you're new. And yeah, George is going to say goodbye to you all, and we will see you guys on the next video. Take care.